Justice League of America's Vibe number 5, written by Sterling Gates, art by Pete Woods. So last issue, Vibe agreed to help Gypsy get back to her home dimension or whatever, and then Waller called out the Suicide Squad to get Vibe. This issue is pretty much just that. So Vibe and Gypsy are running through trying to beat back Argus agents. They corner them at every turn, and collectively they use their powers to confuse or blow back or whatever all the different agents that are coming after them. And Cisco calls up his brother and says like, hey, I'm in trouble, you gotta help me out here. And he's like, okay, meet me at that place that Dad took us whenever we got sad. Don't say it over the phone. Also, ditch anything that they could use to track you that's in your costume. I'll meet you there soon. And so they're on their way there. We see Waller is talking to Agent Gunn. And Gunn's like, don't send in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, they're murderers, man. This is just a kid who got confused and is trying to play hero. And Waller's like, yeah, a kid with superpowers. I'm sending in Suicide Squad. So fall back and steer clear of those two. So they manage to get away because Argus has fallen back. And Cisco just starts taking apart his costume and getting out all the tech bits that would be able to trace him. But he does keep the mask on. And Gypsy's like, why? Like, couldn't that still maybe trace you? And he's like, no, I took care of that. But like, now they can't see through my lenses. That was the problem before. And she says, yeah, okay, I get it. It's so people aren't able to, find your family and use them against you. I wish it was so easy to find my family. And then Vibe asks, okay, tell me your backstory. What's going on? And she explains that her people travel through like dimensions, and their thing is that they trade, however problematic that may be. And her stepmother was ruthless at trading. And one day when they transported over to Earth, the stepmother found out that Gypsy made a trade that was beneficial to the other person more than it was to Gypsy. And so she stranded her here, and everyone left without her. And her father has been trying to get her back ever since, but to no avail. And so Vibe's like, oh yeah, it's like a fairy tale sort of thing. Anyway, I think I can use my powers to like sense where your dimension is. Let me just try changing up my vision. And so he concentrates, and he sees just a massive web of portals just completely all over in front of him. And it's just like, okay, my brain's overloading. I'm freaking out here. And she tries to talk him down, just being like, look, concentrate on anything. Just don't use your powers. And he's just like, I can't. Oh, what else should I concentrate on? And Gypsy leans in and gives him a kiss and says like, this is just to help you concentrate. And he's like, oh, well, that may have done something. Also, hey, my vision's focused and I can see the energy left from your dimension. I can help you out here. And before he's able to do anything, big explosion. They are accosted by the Suicide Squad, which in this case is Deadshot, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and a guy named Crowbar who has a crowbar. No points if you guess who's not making it out. So Vibe and Gypsy, they hold hands and they start running. And because of Vibe's ability to not be seen on most cameras and Gypsy's ability to blend in, it's hard for anyone to even see them. Like, it is not working out. So Deadshot switches through a whole bunch of lenses until finally he gets one where he can see the two of them, and he takes a shot at Gypsy. Vibe freaks out, uses powers to blast back Deadshot and Harley, and then King Shark goes for Gypsy and is about to eat her, and as Vibe is coming after her, Crowbar hops in and says, hey, I've got an energy absorbing crowbar. You can't do anything because you're stupid, because you're Vibe. And so he keeps on blasting energy at Crowbar, and Crowbar keeps on absorbing it until finally he blasts so much energy, and Gypsy's just about to get eaten, that the Crowbar overwhelms with energy and seemingly destroys Crowbar, more than likely teleporting him to some other dimension. So at that point, Deadshot's like, dude, what did you do with Crowbar? And it's like, I don't know, it just disappeared. So they call into Waller to say like, hey, Crowbar might have died, but we got Vibe. And it's like, all right, what about Gypsy? She's the more important one. Also, who cares about Crowbar? And King Shark steps up being like, I don't know, she disappeared during the explosion. Anyway, I'm just going to grab Vibe here and carry him back. And Harley's like, wait a minute, you don't smell fishy enough to be King Shark. She hits him over the head with a hammer, and turns out it was Gypsy just cosplaying as King Shark. So both of them are now captured by the Suicide Squad. We see Dante is at a high school football field, which has a little like shrine in remembrance to his brother Armando. And he sits there waiting all night for Cisco until the sun rises. And he's like, dude, are you texting him? He's like, are you okay? Are you good? Are you alive? Hello? No response. Cisco wakes up. He is in a tube in Argus, as is Gypsy again. And he tries blasting his way out. And some tubes and tentacles and other technological stuff come out from the back of his tube and basically just bind him up. So he is unable to move or see or do anything. He's just completely beholden in the tube. And we get this overarching narrative of Waller to Gunn saying like, hey, you really stuck up for Vibe back there and you were trying to disobey direct orders from me. If you ever try that again, you may as well retire, because this guy was a threat. And she was an even bigger threat. So if you ever, and I mean ever, talk back to me again, you're through. Got it? And Gunn's like, fair enough. Apologies, Director Waller. So that's the issue. That's all of it. Downer ending, but, they usually are. So I liked it. I think that it did a good job of setting up this dynamic between Gypsy and Vibe. I think it did a good job of explaining her backstory, however simple it may be. I'm always tired of when the Suicide Squad pops in, especially when in the book itself the Suicide Squad is going through like a major upheaval in its roster and like everything it's doing. So the fact that here it's the three quote unquote main ones and Crowbar, like, this is the kind of thing that breaks continuity, because there's no point where this could ever make sense, But hey, whatever. Waller's always been a focal point in this book, so clearly the Suicide Squad were eventually going to show up. So overall, I'd say this one is I'll give it a flat 7. It was just a fun read, and that's kind of hard to get across, but I did have fun reading it. It was an interesting use of their powers, and just kind of a fun little thing. So I'm going to say 7 for this, and I think we've only got 3 issues left in this book, so we'll see how we manage to wrap it up in the remaining 3 issues.